This painting, I started it in 1996 and I stopped working on it in about 1997 or 98. And now I've gone back to it. I mean, in a minute I'll show you how it was before. This is the stage as it is now, in the middle of the COVID. But I think it is important to see how it was before, because this painting is very representative of how I go about painting. And I'll try to explain it, and at the same time, by explaining it to you, I'm explaining it to myself. The painting started inspired by two young, beautiful men. One was from Ghana and the other one was born in Lewisham, although he wanted to believe that he was born in the same island where his mother came from, which was a little island in the Caribbean. But I mean, it is not really important who these people are. I mean, they're just friends and people that I met that happened to be very beautiful. And so yeah, I mean, like it is traditional for many artists, I mean, beauty is a sort of a source of inspiration, yeah? And I can say that while I was young, male beauty had always been the source of my ideas. Yeah. So in this particular case, we have these two men, which are called Michael and William, and they are the inspiration for this painting. But once the painting starts, then really the actual source of inspiration is totally irrelevant. It doesn't really matter at all. Yeah. So thank you, William, and thank you, Mike. And yeah. So now let's move into the painting, which is the important thing. Yeah. We have a sort of a tunnel. You could call it a tunnel, almost a double tunnel, and there is the sort of a shadow on it as well. Yeah. Now this could be this way up or the other way up. Let's see if I can actually place it the other way up. So what is happening here? These two cells, it could be also two bacteria, it could be two anything, but the only thing that to me it's clear is they are two living things. Yeah? So this little bit in here to me is sort of a sign, a symbol that I actually relate to Africa. Then, as I said, this is a tunnel, but you know, it could be a tunnel, it could be all sorts of other things. And then in this tunnel, then we have this kind of monstrous figure that could be the alter ego, could be the shadow, could be anything under the sun. I mean, remember that I've been doing psychotherapy for many, many years. I was introduced to therapy by Ken Keefe. He was my teacher at the time, and he suggested a psychoanalyst that he was actually seeing and he was very, very happy with, and that is how I started to be interested in psychotherapy. So at the time that I was doing this painting, I can't remember if I was doing therapy or not, because I mean my experiences with therapy have been on and off. Yeah, no, I haven't actually been having therapy constantly 1 year after the other, although there have been periods that it was like that. Anyway, so we have in here, let's call it the shadow, let's call it a monster, let's call it the alter ego, let's call it fear. It can be anything you want. And that's the interesting thing about painting, that you know, whatever comes in it, then it takes a life of its own, so you can turn it into anything you want, you know. well, you turn it or it turns itself. Sometimes I wonder really how the process is. So, okay, we got a tunnel, we got a creature, and then this creature is actually being used as a sort of a backdrop for these two living things, these two living cells, which are very similar. And the two living cells are sort of floating in this kind of shape that could be like a horseshoe, again connotations with luck and virility, anything you want. And then there is this orange, yeah. I mean, this is actually something that happens very often in my paintings, that a sort of a blob of color appears and has an awful lot of power, and it's so powerful that it's almost as if I'm scared to do anything with it, so I let it be and I leave it at whatever place. Well, I don't leave it at every place it appears, but I mean, if somehow I feel that it's settled, so I leave it there. Yeah. So notice that they're not sort of symmetrical, and also, I mean, the whole thing is moving towards the left. And at one point I thought that maybe this was a sort of a red curtain, remembering a painting of Ken Keefe in which he also has a red curtain to one side. And I have a painting too, the Theatre of Daiki, in which there is sort of a curtain to one side. And yeah, so this is the painting, yeah. And then I think, there is this kind of shape in here that could be yet another kind of ghost appearing from the distance. The ghosts never stop appearing. And so anyway, so that was the painting as I took it a couple of days ago when I started, well, more than a couple of days ago, when actually all this COVID stuff started. I sort of secluded myself in my studio because my landlady was sort of getting completely insane with fear and worry that my sort of presence in the house, considering that I wasn't there 24 hours a day, it could actually become a threat to her. And so therefore I decided to move myself to my studio, where I live in almost Neolithic conditions. But anyway, so that's the stage in which the painting was before I started working on it. And I'll show you in a minute in what process is it now. But what is it that concerns me? Well, first of all is the non-symmetry of it, I mean, this is not symmetrical and this is not symmetrical either. So what does one do? Sure, I could move them, but that's not my way of doing things, I mean, if these things disappear, probably they won't come back again, not in this form. And so, it is always one of my challenge to sort of defend images, and I must say that, I mean, I'm very cruel and I can destroy images very easily after perhaps it's taken me years to sort of arrive to this point, So, okay then, so to me at the moment this painting is about reds and blues, about anything else, okay? There is this kind of bullet of orange, it's like a cannon shot of orange, and that's about it. Oh, and something which I think it's also important to say is that ever since all this COVID nightmare started, I've been watching a series on Netflix, and the one that I'm watching at the moment, it's called Prison Break, with these two brothers, and one is very clever, he's got a very high IQ, and the other one is just a passionate man with a good heart. And but the interesting thing to me is that the way that whoever is written that plot, it's presenting this kind of North American society as the most shit kind of thing ever imaginable. Yeah, there is a mother that abandons her children and then she's even prepared to shoot them so that she can make money. And then, you know, there is another character which is the result of his father fucking his sister, who was also a child with a Down syndrome, and therefore as a result he actually is born. So it's like if, you know, whoever is writing this is trying really, really hard to sort of enter the darkest of the darkest side of society. I find this utterly grotesque, utterly worrying. But anyway, the series is entertaining. Whoever's put the whole thing together is obviously an intelligent person. And so all this aggression, all this violence, all this brutality is in the background as well, and is actually coming with me in the process of making this painting, of transforming this painting into something else. So enough for today. I'm going to see how this has come out, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. We are now in 2024, that is September actually, and the painting can be seen in the gallery of Benjamin Rhodes in Shoreditch, and as part of the exhibition Shoes and Stars that took place about a year ago. Yeah. Anyway, the painting is now called Tristan and Isidre, and it's playing with words, because really what it means, I mean, the painting couldn't be more far away from the romantic, chivalric story of Tristan and Isolde. Yeah? So that's why I called it Tristan and Isidre. So that's the finished painting, and hopefully it speaks for itself.